evening, guys. This is Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. I don't know how I would be thank you to God because the more I thanks, the more I feel that I'm thankless. At least standing today, Treasury Consulting is not a part of those startups who committed frauds in accounts, who laid off the employees, who hold huge quantity of debt in the books, where private equity and venture capitalist firms are running the show, where we have losses every year and valuation is fake. I'm thank you to my Lord for that. And I repeat that the more I thank, I consider myself thankless because I don't think that I can be thankful more than that to my Lord. We may be a mid-sized company, but fundamentally very strong. Not a single dollar, I repeat, not a single dollar is a debt in the books of the company. Thank you. People know that I worked as a corporate treasurer, and I told you that now I am a law student also. Henceforth, I have a very limited time in making videos. But yes, I love videos and I continue to shoot videos till the last day of my life. That's what I believe because I believe in the logics of Lord Shiva. Mahadev said that big powers come with big responsibility. He always speaks this and he follows this also. And I'm also trying to follow this. I believe that it's my predominant duty to make videos, to update people. And Mahadev also said that once you do your job, you should not be bothered about whether you are getting any form of appreciation or not. That's the reason Mahadev is known as Mahayogi, because Mahadev is known as Viragi, because Mahadev is away from all attractions, all attractions. He never bothered about any attraction. That's why he really bothered about appreciation, depreciation and all. And that's what I always try to follow from him. And that's the reason I always try to shoot a 1 minute video and long videos as and when I get time. And to me, it hardly makes any sense whether people like it, do not like it, because I know that my message is reaching to the right platform. Today also, I'm going to be making a very technical and tactful video. And I don't expect less than 1% of the people would be able to understand. I don't expect that. But before I start this video, let me give you a background of why I'm making this video. In 2018, when I shot about SoftBank, then many Einstein, Edisons, Newtons came in public domain and said that Rahul Magan is wrong. You know what is happening with the SoftBank today? Every information about SoftBank is in public. Similarly, when around a couple of years ago, when I started speaking about the Indian startup story, their fake valuations, people laughed. You know what is happening today? Even today, there is a new about Go Mechanic, share chat. Check it out. Today, I am making similar kind of video, but in financial markets. And I expect less than 1% of the people would be able to understand that. Now, the story is like that. Today is the early morning of 19th January 2023, a date which United States government officially acknowledged as a breach of debt ceiling. Now, what the hell is debt ceiling? That's we need to understand. Debt ceiling is a limit which is approved by the Parliament, the Congress, Senate of United States, and this is the level of debt United States federal government, take a note of that, federal government can hold. State governments have their respective limits, and I don't have any cumulative figure of that because unfortunately it is not available also. Now, federal government can take approximately 34.5, roughly you can say 31.5 trillion worth of debt as far as the official approval is concerned. I repeat, 31.4 trillion. Today is the early morning of 19th January 2023, which means if I speak about United States, I think it's 18th January evening time. United States agreed that on 19th January, the debt ceiling would breach, which means whatever limit is being approved by the Senate, they need to approve more because you already reached that level of debt. I remember 1998, which is around 24 years ago, when United States were holding around 5 trillion of debt. As we speak, it is approximately 31.4 trillion and growing. That's more important. Now Biden would be heading to Senate to grow the debt. And I'm sure that he would be finding it very difficult this time because this time the House is controlled by Republicans, Trump party. And Trump party, you know what they're going to be doing. To conclude this story, US dollar is losing. And we have concurrent evidence of that. You know that I'm a law student also. In law, there are two kinds of evidence. One is exclusive evidence and one is conclusive evidence. Exclusive evidence is like a weapon of murder, a vehicle from which the accident has been committed, any kind of equipment or any kind of weapon which is used in any kind of heinous crimes. This is called exclusive evidence. Conclusive evidence means which is going to get concluded, which is generally nothing but cross witness. When the courts will do the cross witness and they conclude the evidence. So it is nothing in black and white, but you need to conclude it from the statements made up by the witness or probably the prosecution or maybe the defense himself or herself. Dollar is losing, and we have exclusive as well as conclusive both. Exclusive evidence is this debt limit, which is currently 31.4 trillion, and I'm sure Trump would be hiking this by at least 2 trillion. Because Trump is completely aware that by the time US will go for election somewhere in 2024, mid you can say, which is precisely 1.5 years from now, this whatever 2 trillion limit US has done with, it is breached. He would be going with 2 trillion limit, which means 31.4 plus 2, which is equal to 33.4. On a flat note, 34. And I won't be surprised that by 2026 end, which means around 3 years from now, US would be very close to 40 trillion. I won't be surprised. But this time, The government, I don't name Biden, I'm saying the government, the country, made a mess for himself. And that is called interest rate. Guys, when this debt limit, which is 31.4, when it is breached today, around a year ago, the US interest rate was 1.5% maximum, which in our parlance is called benchmark curve, BMK, US BMK, which is around 1.5%. As we speak, it is 5%, which means now when this debt get rolled over, and of course it's a common sense, it's a mathematical equation, you can't run away, right? When this debt get rolled over, you have to pay the highest interest cost, and that interest cost is called revenue deficit in technical parlance, which is primary a component of primary deficit. So technically speaking, the more interest rate Federal Reserve would be hiking in the near term, the more panic it creates for United States. And another panic is Ukraine. Biden is supporting Ukraine as a part of NATO. Please don't treat or do not add any politics in this video. But this, in short, is a cost to United States. And the country is never be a surplus country. Please check the current account deficit of United States. Please check, it is in trillions on a consistent basis. Now, this is exclusive evidence. What is conclusive evidence? This is conclusive evidence. I would have a separate video on this, but let me just show you a conclusive evidence, which is I took a printout from a website, and that is of 16th January 2023 information. Central Bank of Iran is reportedly cooperating with the Russian government to jointly issue a new cryptocurrency backed up by gold. Once again, we all knew that Iran is assisting from a military angle to Russia, whether it is drone, whether this is missiles and various things. Don't want it to deep dive into this topic. And now the Central Bank of Iran is reportedly cooperating with the Russian government to jointly issue a new cryptocurrency backed up by gold. And do you know that as we speak, USD, United States dollar, as a composition of global FX reserve is around 55%. Around 55%, which used to be 75%. Gone are the beautiful days in 2000 when it was 75%. Today it is 55%. And who is eating that share? Chinese yuan, Australian dollar, Swiss franc, and various such currencies. If you read this article very carefully, in legal parlance, the conclusive meaning is Russia is trying to cut US dollar. They are adding a lot of gold. So their central bank of Russia is also adding a lot of gold, and that information you can see on the Google. And now Russia is doing this, which means that eventually Russia is planning to cut US dollars. And China is always with Russia as far as these motives are concerned. China sold a huge quantity of treasury, UST, United States Treasury, which they were holding, and now they sold it. And they're also buying gold. I don't know whether this project would be successful or not. I do not know this about. because we know that the state of crypto market. But if this project end up being a success for a minute, this would trigger a wave against US dollar. An exclusive evidence, which is the debt limit, is already breached. I don't know why we call USD as a reserve currency of the world. Why USD is given as AAA rated by so-called Standard & Poor, Fitch and Moody. When the country do not have internal accruals, the country is extremely dependent on funding. The Treasury Secretary herself agreed that if the debt limit is not increased, then USD may default. So what sort of system you are holding is that if there is no debt, the country will default. To conclude that, things are moving in the negative direction. And God forbid if Federal Reserve would continue to hike the rate, which I'm sure, because I never expect any good work from Federal Reserve, effective 2007. And Federal Reserve is making sure that they never disappoint me. And I hope this time also they will not disappoint me. I expect another 1.5 to 2% hike in the interest rate somewhere 2023, which means 50 basis in a range of 50 basis, probably 25 basis for a time being. Which means today, if the benchmark curve is about 5%, we can say it would be approximately 7% 365 days from now, which is panic. It is there. It is there. Microsoft, Google, Facebook, you name who's not firing. You name it, please. Henceforth, I'm not bullish on dollar. I know people don't appreciate this video, but to me it hardly matters. Like I wasn't bullish on the SoftBank strategies. And you know what is happening with SoftBank. I wasn't bullish on Indian startups and many global startups balance sheet like Robinhood Inc. and all. You know what is happening. Peloton, Robinhood Inc. and all these. Today I'm not bullish on dollar. Do note that I haven't included my deliberations on war in this video, because that I'm not including as we speak. But overall, I can say I'm not at all bullish on dollar. I know that Chinese economy is facing a lot of issues. And I personally agree that they would be taking not less than 5 to 6 years from here. I repeat, 5 to 6 years from here to recover thoroughly from COVID. And God forbid, if there is another mess, we can't anticipate, we can't envisage, we can't envisage that. In short, I'm not at all bullish on dollar. I personally see the mess which dollar created for himself. They will pay a heavy price of that. They are paying heavy price of that. Microsoft, 10,000 jobs. Some articles even claim 11,000 jobs. Amazon is around 18,000 jobs. Facebook is approximately 11,000 jobs. Twitter, and you name the American company who is not cutting the jobs. Millions of people are currently homeless thanks to exorbitant increase in the mortgages. A mortgage which used to be 1.5%, now it is more than 5.5%. And see, Goldman Sachs is cutting 3,200 jobs. Wells Fargo is joining now. Guys, I already told you that dollar is moving in a negative direction. Unfortunately, the American leadership is not envisaging that, and they will pay a heavy price of this. The stupidity created by the Federal Reserve is paid up by the employees who are working in respective organizations. Federal Reserve governors are happy. They're getting home, salary, security, pension, bonuses, everything. Why do they bother? Hardly bother. Wait for some time, you will get to know. Like in 2018, I said about SoftBank and many more predictions afterwards. Wait for some time, you will get to know about USD as well. Appropriate hints being given in this video. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. You knew my personal number +91 9899 242 978. Let me repeat, +91 9899 242 978. Alternatively speaking, you can visit our fixed income platform www.fixedincome.global. Thank you very much, and